When you begin, all your tasks will have the same duration and start and end dates. It's now critical for you to put in a good estimate of the time it will take you to complete each task. Since you know your business very well, you should be pretty good at doing this. Make sure you add some extra time into each task as a buffer, just in case something takes longer than expected. In order to explore the different ways that we can adjust the tasks, open up Project Tasks B exercise sheet. This particular movie is only going to concentrate on the mechanics of making the changes to the duration and start and end dates. So we're not going to worry about any of the constraints or messages that we're going to get that are going to tell us we may be making some adjustments to our overall project. We'll concern ourselves with those later on in subsequent movies. Right now, we're just going to learn how we can make our changes to the duration and the start and end dates. So we're going to work with the same task, identifying the target audience. There are 3 different methods that you can use to change the duration of a task or when it will begin or end. The first one is to work with the task information dialog box. You do that by selecting the task that you want to work with and double-clicking on it. It opens your task information dialog box here. As you go to your General tab, you then can see that you can change the start and end dates here in this particular section. So if you wanted this particular task to start on the 13th, you simply pull the drop-down menu, you select the date where you'd like it to start, and you do the same for the finish date. You click OK, and again, here's that planning wizard. It's identifying for me perhaps potential interdependencies that we're going to talk about in subsequent movies. So I'm just going to say, no, just move that target without adding any links and leave it alone for me. And there it does. It changes my duration to 2 days. It starts on the 13th and it ends on the 14th. Now let's notice a couple of things of how it's changed my Gantt chart. It's increased the task Gantt chart line up to 2 days. It's also increased the total number of days for my project summary. So it's going to say now define project scope takes a total of 3 different days. It starts my start date on the 13th and it updates my finish date to the 14th. You'll also notice that on my chart, it highlights the screen so it identifies what changes have been taking place in the chart. So it allows me to keep track of what I've been changing when. One final thing to note is that it places a note in my indicator column that identifies that this task has a constraint placed on it so that it automatically will give the information to me as I am changing the tasks. So there's lots that has gone on behind the scenes with just me making the change to the dates. Let's undo this so that we take a look at method number 2 on how to change my dates. I don't have to open up my task information dialog box in order to make the change because I have the duration and start and finish date columns right in front of me. I can simply go into the duration cell and make a change to allow it to be 2 days in length. And you'll see now that it automatically makes those changes for me. It highlights where the changes have been. It changes my finish date to be reflective of 2 days after I start it. It increases the size of my Gantt chart line. There's no indicator placed in here because there are no notes associated with that particular action. So this is very, very quick and dirty to get the information in there. The final way that I can use to increase the duration of a particular type of task for those that are more visually oriented is to use the Gantt chart lines itself. Now you'll notice as I've moused over this particular Gantt chart, I have a 4-sided arrow as my mouse indicator. I simply click and drag that indicator along the line to then increase or decrease the amount of time that's spent on that particular task. Again, my planning wizard comes up and asks me, do I want to link these 2 particular tasks together? We're going to ignore that for the moment. And we've moved that task. We haven't created a change in the length of the task, but we've moved it from Monday to Tuesday. If I want to increase that length of the task, I simply pull and drag the Gantt line so that it expands. So those are 3 different ways that you can use to increase the timing and task duration of the different tasks in your project. Next, we're going to learn about how to set deadlines for some of our tasks.